story could have ended here, and it would have been a happy ending. Abraham is settled. He lives in Beersheba. He has signed a peace treaty with the local king. He has dug wells. He has planted trees. But most importantly, he has the son, Isaac, the miracle child, the one born when Sarah was 90 and Abraham was 100. Isaac wasn't just a boy. He was the promise. He was the proof that all the suffering was worth it. He was Abraham's immortality. The wandering was over. The radical man who left civilization had finally built a home. He had wealth, respect, and a legacy. Abraham thought he had passed the final test. He thought God was done with him. But silence is often a trap. God looked at Abraham and saw a man who was getting too comfortable, a man who perhaps loved the gift more than the giver. And so the ancient text says, "And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham." It happened at night. There were no thunderclaps, no burning bushes, just a voice in the dark calling his name, Abraham. And he answered with one word, Hineni. Here I am. He was ready for a mission, but he was not ready for this. The command came in slow, terrifying details. Every word was a hammer blow. Take your son. Which one? I have two. Your only son. Each is the only son of his mother. The one whom you love. I love them both. Isaac. There was no room for misunderstanding. And then the unthinkable instruction. Go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering. God did not ask for a life. He asked for an Olah, a total sacrifice, to slaughter the boy, burn the body, and scatter the ashes to the wind, to erase the promise with his own hands. Any other man would have screamed. Any other father would have argued, just as Abraham argued for Sodom. But this time, silence. He rose early in the morning. He saddled his donkey. He took 2 servants and his son, Isaac. He split the wood for the burnt offering. He did not hesitate. He did not say goodbye to Sarah, because if he had told her the truth, she would have stopped him. If he had told her a lie, he would have been unworthy of the sacrifice. So he left in silence. The Bible says, on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Why 3 days? Why didn't God transport him instantly? Because an impulsive sacrifice is easy. Adrenaline can make you do crazy things. But God wanted a deliberate act. He gave Abraham 3 days to think, 3 days to regret, 3 days to turn back. Every step was a choice to continue. And in that silence, the boy finally spoke. Father? Abraham answered, Hineni, Beni. Here I am, my son. The same word he used for God. He was fully present for both. Isaac asked the question that must have cut like a knife. Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham looked at the wood on his son's shoulders, the wood he would burn on. He looked into his eyes and said the most terrifying sentence in the Torah. God will see for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the text concludes, so they went both of them together. The commentators explain, now Isaac knew, and yet he kept walking. They walked together, one to slaughter, one to be slaughtered, united in will. They arrived at the place. Abraham built the altar, he arranged the wood, and then he bound Isaac his son. The Hebrew word is akida, the binding. Look at the physics of it. Isaac was young and strong. Abraham was an old man over 100. If Isaac wanted to run, he could have run. If he wanted to fight, he would have won. But he didn't. Isaac let himself be bound. He laid down on the wood voluntarily. It was a double sacrifice. Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. This is the 0 point. In this split second, Abraham is dead inside. He has already killed his future. He has killed the promise. He chose the voice over everything else. And then, a voice from heaven exploded into the silence. Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up. There, in a thicket, he saw a ram caught by its horns. He took the ram and sacrificed it instead of his son. The test was over. But the man who came down from that mountain was not the same man who went up. Abraham lived for another 75 years, but the Bible records very few words from him after this event. He returned to Beersheba. Sarah died soon after. He bought a cave for her burial. He found a wife for Isaac, and then he died. So what was the result? The first Downshifter didn't build an empire. He didn't build a city. He didn't leave behind a code of laws like Hammurabi. He left behind a family that carried the voice. Abraham stripped away his past in Ur. He stripped away his future on Moriah. And in that empty space, he found the absolute. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find who you really are. This is the legacy of the first Downshifter. Not what he conquered, but what he was willing to sacrifice.